But I guess
There's
maybe it's
that.
not infinite space, but it's more space than I could possibly need to put like maps and tokens and stuff into Owlbear, which is great.
Mhm.
And yeah,
You say that now after doing a 100 demon fight.
I mean, yeah, it's
You know,
true. I do need to. I've been uploading tokens for this finale battle for a minute. Um, it's part of the fun. We're live, by the way, but part of the fun is just um, trying to find new things. Like I tried very hard in this campaign to have you not fight the same things really more than once, and I think only once did that come back. Um, because I'm finding the corpse flowers again because it made sense for the environment, but I was like, it's more fun when you're more powerful to take on something that like early on was really scary, and now is like, oh, we can fight this.
Poultry.
It's like the Dark Souls when you're like playing early on, they have one Taurus demon, and you're like, oh my god, this is an insane boss, and like near the end, you're like just cutting them down left and right because there's like 50 of them in one area. You're like, oh, I'm really good at this game, and then like one comes up behind you, and you just hit by the axe, you die anyway, and you're like, damn it, I hate this game. Reload.
This
Hello, we're
game
live.
sucks.
Oh,
So get good, sucker.
good sucker.
That's what it should say instead of you died. Just get good. uh, those games are great. We're live. We're back we've had a little bit of a hiatus since what we were saying August earlier. So
Yes.
yes.
I blame life and scheduling. It is the highest challenge rating encounter for any D&D table, but nevertheless we persevere. Chris will be joining us shortly. He is trying to not rage throw his computer out a window, I think. So, but yeah, just wanted to get back and get talking to our, what, single digits of fans, double dungeon dozens of fans, us maybe just chuffing to
There
ourselves.
are dozens of us.
So
Dozens.
dozens of us, a whole D&D army. Hello. Um, yeah, it's been a minute. Do y'all want to just reintroduce your characters for those at home slash for
For
us
that.
to remember who the hell everyone's playing?
Oh yeah, I'll bring up my wiki.
You have a wiki for Odette?
I have I have
I know
a
there's at least a Pinterest.
Yes, the Pinterest
And
board rocks.
there's absolutely a Pinterest board with multiple levels. Yeah, I'll
It's
go first. Uh, Hello, hey, I'm Joe Gates, and I play Odette Beauvoir, and she is a shadow touched elf, and she was a performer, prima ballerina, like assoluta, and she got roped into doing adventures with a bunch of very very experienced people, and her best friend at the moment, um, uh, uh, that was Bella, and she has her own tale to tell, but she had a mysterious book of shadows, and had strange moves and like dance moves and stuff in it. And if you did them, you could like flit from shadow to shadow, or do some pretty spectacular things. And she had to get revenge for her lost mentor that her rival and other best friend murdered. And yeah, she has a boyfriend, Cole. I guess fiance Cole. He's a shape shifting shifter werewolf dude.
Mhm.
But yeah,
also
now
also a
she is
dancer.
she is a shadow dancer, and the what do we call it? She has the aspect of the muse.
And
What it is, so
also a good note, as of last session, you managed to actually rescue your mentor after a long series of complicated twists and turns, finding that he was killed, but then his soul was trapped in basically a soul cage, which was put into a music box that was stolen out of jealousy, finally taken back from Chantel after a bunch of very, we'll call them catty encounters. But yeah, finally managed to challenged Chantel to a duel, but actually Chantel being a warlock of Mammon accepted on her behalf
Hmm.
and fought your way through a very complicated series of demon fights to effectively win that bargain, which was good because the losing option was you were going to stay there forever, and the rest of the party would get a 10-minute head start to see how far they got. But it turned out in your favor, so you managed to rescue your mentor after a very, very long series of trials.
Huzzah!
General Azalana is back in the land of the living.
Yeah, I can't wait to properly meet him. I don't know what his whole thing will be, but we know he makes music boxes, and we know he's a retired general.
Yes, but now very exciting arc all in all. What about Bella?
So Bella Hargrave is technically well appears to be a elven warlock. But really, she's a changeling named Jin who has been pretending to be Bella Hargrave. I totally understand viewers at home if you forgot that she's a changeling named Jin, because it basically has not been mentioned since like the second episode that we did, because she just doesn't ever change off from Bella, because she's just been living as Bella for so long that that's kind of like her now. But technically, she totally can change, because she is a changeling. Maybe I'll remember to do something with that before this game ends. But in the meantime, it turns out that Bella has lived a whole bunch of lives that she thought were different lives of ancestors that were passing the persona of Bella from changeling to changeling, but it was apparently actually all Jin. As Jin died over and over and over again and was resurrected by her well-meaning brother, who at the time was a disembodied spirit that was like living in her head, and now is like a real person again. Thanks to the deal that she made with the Raven Queen, that is how she is currently a Raven Queen warlock. So things are looking up.
How'd Bella feel about her contributions to Zengi's research?
Oh, Bella is pretty sure she's the worst person alive. So, you know, there's that. Because it turned out she was the unwitting I don't know, student researcher for Zengi, the big bad, back in the day when he created his soul collection machine. And she had a part in
You were a
creating it,
student with
which
promise.
is when her whole cycle of a student with promise.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to get tenure, damn it. And now she that was what started the whole disembodied sort of dead brother and cycle of dying and being resurrected. So that's why she's been around for so long and has so many half remembered lives now.
Mm-hmm. It was as a last minute like escape effort. Bella and her brother Gray managed to have enough Arcanum to effectively let Gray make a wish to hide Bella from Zangi, effectively erasing her from Zangi's journals and memory, which allowed her to like continue to stay off the radar. Because let's face it, after Zangi's machine was sabotaged, he was going to go find people and either convince or coerce them into repairing it. And he was not able to find Bella because of that wish to hide her. But it also caused some other complications in your life. But Gray's back in a body. You're back in probably some.
We have no
We've
reason to
lost.
doubt him.
We've lost count of the number of Bella clones that we've gone through. On screen, it's only been one. Um, yeah. Hey,
Oh,
welcome. I take it you did not throw your computer out the window.
Very close.
Well, no, I appreciate your tenacity. So we are live, and we're just doing a bit of a character recap to just remind ourselves and the audience of what's happened so far. if you want to cue up the "Carry On My Wayward Son" supernatural, the road so far, if you will. You know,
Also, I haven't gone yet, so you can still adjust things.
yeah, absolutely. That's Bella in a nutshell.
Or a test tube.
Yeah, that's that.
Mm.
What a great scene. Itzel.
um, that was a good one. Itzel is also a half elf, but she's the tallest member of the party, which definitely is something you should know. Very valuable that.
Super
So,
important.
I mean, like, you gotta get it when you can. It's experience thing I'll never experience in real life. It's fine. Um, the Itzel is a druid. Well, she's druid and a rogue, a little bit, but she had a prophecy vision that she garnered from her work with the stars. That we had a potential for world ending terrible, and that she desperately needed to find people to fulfill this crew that was going to hopefully stop it in its tracks. So over like lots of travel, she brought her sort of cousin Metzley with her, looking for the people that would fulfill these symbols that she'd been dreaming of, and ran into this crew, like auditioning to do work for, and then sort of convincing them to become part of a crew. And then there was the Celestial Diamond, and then the guy's fiance turned out to not be so, like, yeah, it was problems. But yeah, so she's a druid with Circle of the Stars, and she's gotten some like sneaky fighty bits in there. And yes, yeah.
That's pretty well summarized.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
the
she's very much on mission all the time. That's real. Her grandmother might be a rabbit and also the moon. Um,
yes. Did you ever think that you would meet the heroes of the age at a Waterdeep Ninja Warrior tryout?
um, no, and I think like while she came to enjoy it, especially like after coming into the fold with Valen, I don't think she expected to think that that was anything but a gigantic waste of time. Um, but yeah, I think honestly a big part of Itzel's journey has been like that since these people are also valuable and human to her now, even though she hasn't known them for so long, that it's still like we like the fate of the universe still like hinges upon us, and that's a problem.
A lot of pressure.
Yep. But if we
Your
make it through this whole thing, she's taken on the van life, so that's good.
hell yeah, yeah. Got a couple. Got some potential with Oh boy, notes. Oh, what was his name? It's been so long.
Need more than that.
The ranger
Ranger
Oh,
Bro.
Delon.
the
Delon,
counselor.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Delon's like, hey, you want to go live in a van and like just drop the van?
No, excuse me. That was not his reaction to this. If you will remember. And y'all laughed at me also. So you know what? I made notes.
You're
Um,
really gonna have to narrow that down.
I believe his answer was an basically. Just yeah, like putting that out there. Um, so
Fair.
mhm.
And you were also very successful in rescuing your cousin from a impromptu ship trip to the Shadowfell,
Yes,
which she's
yes,
recovered most of her, uh, shipper kind of demeanor from that.
yeah. But she had a roiling good time with the God's Tier, which is
Yeah,
bound to leave some emotional scars.
kind of shook her confidence for a little bit. Turns out if you think of yourself as worthy to take on a divine item, and then it turns out you're not, or you're in your own head, you manage to stop yourself. However, kind of reads to that person, it can cause a lot of conflict. But she's safe and sound physically. Um, what about Valen?
Valen is a dwarf who was a career soldier. He was a sergeant member of the prince's personal bodyguard. And during war, he apparently proved himself enough that he appeared before Tempest, the god of war, and just immediately fell to his knees and was blown away at the glory of this man, and was decided to be Tempest's paladin, and was sent back. Now you're important. The rest of the church is a little offended that you're some nobody. I might not have read the book, but I skimmed it. I mean, I got the important bits. I'm figuring this out as I'm going along. He is a paladin of glory. And for Valen, what this means is celebrating the concept of glory, that everyone is glorious and can be glorious and needs to bring that out. And he wants to encourage that with everyone. He has his partner in crime. His mount is a celestial war goat named Gruff, who is
Gruff.
at least as smart as most barbarians. He's very handy to have around. During the course of our quest, Valen was sent by Tempest to join this adventure. He obtained the Holy Avenger by defeating demons inside Tempest's own church, and has been trying to save the world as best he can. He, while saving Itzel's cousin Metzli, proved himself worthy to grab the God's Tear because he believed he should be. And that he believed that in Tempest so strongly that he was able to grab the thing. But yeah, just along for the ride and trying his damnedest to protect his friends.
And the party itself has a pretty impressive track record. You saved pretty much every single named NPC.
Pretty much.
There are a couple people who've just like not made it from I think the Waterdeep assassination attempt.
There were some members of the guests, not the council itself, but some. I don't want to call them nobodies, but
there are a couple of just like nobles that just couldn't get out in time, and it was one of those things where like you can't save everybody. There's so much happening, but like you saved so many people in the course of your adventure. Like I'm shocked that this list of NPCs I have is still intact, because I was sure I would cross some of these off the list, but no, you saved pretty much everybody, which is phenomenal considering the odds that have been stacked against you for so long. But yeah, and speaking of saving everybody, our crew of unlikely heroes have found themselves on the eve of an invasion. They've worked with the Council of Waterdeep to help show this threat of this lich named Zengi, who has managed to take over Neverwinter and use some type of pacification or illusion spell to give the impression that everything is fine here. But between the things that they've seen, the refugees that they've found that have managed to escape the spell in the city, and of course the assassination attempt on the council, all these things when piled together, they said like, this is very wrong, we're going to stop it. And so all these people have started to basically grab all the resources they can and say, we're going to defeat Zengi. And that's where we left the party, on basically the eve of war. Because it's not just defeating him, it's saving the city and potentially trying to determine if he's managed to recreate his infernal machine or where he's at in that.
I believe his machine was intended to kill 1/3 of the planet to make the other 2/3 immortal.
Yes. He's gone on multiple tirades about freeing people
we took
from...
offense to.
Yeah. It's like, look, it's a small sacrifice when you do the math on like, we're just going to free people from the gods' control. Why should gods only have immortality? We should give it to everybody at a small, small cost. But, and then like, the first time he fired up this machine, he caused the desolation of Shars. So, maybe not so small.
Did we level up to 17 at the end of last session?
According to my notes, you should be 17.
Okay.
If I have that, yeah, you should be 17.
Nope, just found it in my notes. I'm sorry.
You too.
So,
I was looking in the wrong place. I'm like, why do I have this? Is it a draft?
it's okay. I don't anticipate any. I'm not going to start a massive fight somewhere at 9:30 at night when we have a half hour to end stream. I'd like to have the full session for it. So tonight is about what other business you have to take care of in Waterdeep. But let me reset the scene. You've just returned. I think it's about an hour or so later after you've come back from the abyss, effectively, right? And your massive duel with Memon and his archdukes, and or I guess the one that Memon refereed, that you were successful in that fight.
Good times.
And when you reappeared, of course, Lady Silverhand and other members of the council and the Arcane Tower were there with you, who were frozen briefly in time as you were pulled down into this duel, returning to and shocking them that Chantel was gone and you had just blipped in and out of existence for them, which was only a few moments. But we kind of pick up in a comfier area, I think, back in Lady Silverhand's chambers with her, with Mortimer, with Yusef, and a few others who have kind of listened to what happened and they heard this whole breakdown of where you had gone. Is there anything you don't tell them, just out of curiosity? You guys have been pretty on the up and up with everybody, so I'm assuming you're going to tell most of it. But if there's something specific you just keep to yourselves, that's fine. I just need to know it. I'm not going to make you recap the entire thing in conversation.
I'm going to leave out the part where I got mind controlled.
Fair. Hey, Gruff saved the day on that one.
He did.
I wanted you so badly to smite Itzel into oblivion. And I was like, come on, baby!
Ow.
That would've been ugly.
It's not personal,
Yes.
it's just funny.
Yes, it would have been.
Because he would have pulled out the stops, too. He would have been level 3 smite and thunderous smite on top of that. Yeah.
Just small mushroom cloud. That ain't good.
I think Odette does include the bit about, she's like, the general is here, thankfully.
So that would have been the first question. Who's he?
A decorated soldier and General Kazunazalana. The person, Lady Silverhand, the person who was in the box here. But she does kind
He's
of
been here the whole time.
He's been here the whole time.
Sam Retrofears.
Giving me vague advice. It's true. You can talk to the music box that he made for Odette and told Chantel, so she got furious and set up a whole thing to murder him and put him inside. So, long and the short of it is, Odette says, Chantel is now in here. There still is the problem, the possibility. I know, Itzel. I can feel your eyes from back here. Returning her to life, if she has given up the pursuit of Mammon. But if we were to use this word empty to perhaps, I don't know, take the soul of, you're going to have to remind me the name of the fiancé.
No, not Suri. Wow.
Yes. Suri?
Suri, yeah.
Suri, yes.
Suri?
Thank you.
Of Suri, and put her in here, or perhaps Zengi himself.
Mortimer, the Tortland archmage, right, kind of like slowly adjusts his glasses and like hunched over his shell with like a cloak over top of it. Just kind of squints at the box and says, "Well, I believe I could keep this. I could keep this in a place of containment. I could potentially transfer the Incarnum inside to another safe area as well if you'd like to take it with you if you think that will help."
Itzel's just gonna like take the box before Mortimer can like take it completely and just shake it a little bit. Um, like, like idly, just like
So,
you know.
Making a masterwork,
Oh, yeah,
a
gee.
masterwork piece of art with a
Uh-huh.
soul inside it.
Yeah.
as I said, the hard part is well, the hard part is honestly collecting and storing Incarnum. Transferring is we could do it within the evening. I could have this to you before you leave.
And the rest of you, is that even a possibility of taking Seri out of? Granted, it is her body; she belongs there. But or perhaps Zengi himself, and is it even possible?
I, I really don't want to use this as a source of wisdom, but Gray might know something about how we could restore her if we were able to get her soul into the box.
It is his expertise.
Restore Sari,
She's
or
gonna say all of that out loud, like like
I
restore,
the.
believe I believe
restoring
I mean,
Sari?
like,
strongly.
and like look apologetically at Bella because it's like this is not probably comfortable, but that is, yeah. Whereas if it's Zengi that we were able to put in the box, I'd want to know how to destroy the box with whatever was inside.
My
Lady,
under, my understanding from what Lady Silverhand told me was simply if the box was accidentally um, smashed, then the general at the time was in there, and he would have gone to other whatever fate awaited him. Is that still the case?
Lady Silverhand nods and says, "Now, please understand. Yes, that research is accurate in terms of using it further to potentially bring his soul back. It's it is doable according to research, but I'm an evoker and Mortimer is a transmuter, so it's not necessarily our area of expertise. But we can find a solution if we have at least materials to start with."
Is that the end result? Is that what we want to do? Take Suri or Zengi's soul and put it in a
It,
box?
if we do that, where does Chantel go?
Oh, Mortimer, you were just saying.
I could transfer the Incarnum from
Okay.
effectively
Okay.
one container to another.
A
That can be
flimsy
done with
container?
minimal complications. No, no, no. A flimsy container invites too many possibilities for damage. We would use something more secure.
Uh, okay. If you must.
Nods like, mm-hmm.
I looked understanding and understandingly at Itzel, and I get it, but perhaps I don't
No,
know.
we need the box. I understand. We need the box. You know. But if the container were glass and on a shelf,
And the cat were perhaps some way to find
you
its way
know,
up there?
I am so cute as a cat. I'm so
Yes,
cute as a cat.
undeniable, yes.
We for very good reason don't usually allow uh, most pets in the arcane experimental areas. It's
That's
cause
classist,
complication.
Mortimer, and I have my reasons.
It's standard safety precaution. You don't want things that are loaded with, any type of transmutation, abjuration, or, if heaven forbid, evocation energy simply falling off shelves. Who knows the kind of damage that could do? Very dangerous to the workers there. That's okay. They have designated, like, effectively familiar daycares. They're very nice. You'd be amazed what kind of things you can create to, like, really keep familiar engaged when you have the endless ability of conjurations and creativity.
That was not where I thought that was going.
But in the end, is that the plan? Or you're going to have to refresh me. I know, Valen, that you had a plan originally, but does this open up a new possibility?
I think so. I don't know how this magic stuff works a lot of the time, but I believe from my faith that the God's tier could possibly kick Zengi out. We may have to weaken him first. He may be able to fight back against it, and I think it might use up the God's tier doing it, but I believe that once we can try.
So, and after that, he would try to go back to.
That's the thing. I'm assuming he's floating free after that. We'd probably have to put him in a box. Maybe an urn.
That's where
Crystal.
this lady in Silverhand speaks up and says, "That's where if you're able to contain the Arcanum, he will not be able to regenerate. But if he does escape, his body, any form that he's in, once destroyed, is effectively irrelevant. He can create another one or take another one, but trapping his incarnate or soul there is going to be the key to keeping him from returning."
But for so many centuries, he was in the yellow diamond around Suri's neck.
It was her putting that on that set him free, I think.
During the wedding ceremony.
Yeah, it's been a very long time, but the funny part is the way back when, probably a mere month ago in game, but in reality a very long time ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, the treasure that you all found, that Yusuf took you on that adventure, was shielded by an anti-magic field.
They had done a lot to secure that gem.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Guy the Bat who was had connections to Zengi, who fooled us all into thinking we were grabbing treasure from a dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Did we kill him?
Guy, you beat the crap out of him.
Not yet.
We sent him back.
Yeah, he
has to be resummoned, but he's not gone.
Yeah,
Not yet.
Bella trapped him, and everyone just kind of stabbed him through the.
It was some
prison.
It's like a rage room therapy session.
We trapped him in bars, and we all stabbed him through the bars. That was great.
Because I trapped him in a force cage.
Yeah, great spell, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So effectively, out of character, making sure that when Zengi dies, you get his soul does not return to a phylactery of some type to regenerate. Right. That'll be critical. Otherwise, he'll show back up in 1 month to 100 years and try again. This will kind of solidify your thoughts on this. General Azalana does turn to Ulthar Ravengard and says, "Well, I'm still getting my bearings for everything that's happened. I think mostly caught up thanks to," kind of nods towards Odette. That's very, very detailed descriptions of the things happening around me. But, well, I want to lend my expertise if I can. I understand that I haven't been a general for some time, but if you need more help organizing the defense or even an offense, I'm happy to assist. I owe all of you so much. And Othar Ravengard looks to Odette for a second for like kind of gives you the no insight required. Like, what do you think? Kind of look.
What does Odette think? I guess.
Is effectively because it's like, hey, without having to get into the inside, it's oh, we know you. This person knows you. We don't know him. Is he cool?
General Azulana is a decorated general for a reason. He is also, upon his retirement, uh, an excellent director of the art of movement. And I learned the art of jewel making and tinkering from him because I have that proficiency, and it's come up one. So she says, I believe that he would be an excellent asset. General, you have often, the start of a project, uh, stated shock and awe. Is that offensive, I am assuming? Even though you are basically telling dancers and choreographers.
Azalana nods and says, "My preference would be the offense, but I have no interest in derailing any plans you've already made." And Ravengard turns and says, "Well, I have a few ideas on where we can work you in. I think you'll be a great help to this. So thank you." And the two of them start talking strategy. You see, like, Ravengard pulls out a map and starts pointing at some areas of which you would recognize as like areas around the city of Neverwinter to kind of see where the general can work in and start helping. It says, Motor says, I'll take the music box and I will get started on the transference. I'll have it to you ideally late tonight, if not early in the morning before you leave. And like kind of reaches to take it and turns to leave. Lady Silverhand says, "Well, I have to go check on last minute preparations. I'm glad all of you are safe. I'm General Aslana. We're happy to have you. And for the rest of you, if there's anything else you need from me, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you out there." And kind of turns to exit as well. She's comfortable leaving you in her office at this point. You've saved her life. But yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces outside, and let's be honest, they got to get coordinated. What do you all do?
Give the box a nice extra shimmy shake before giving it to Mortimer. Um, maybe like not like to break it, but maybe like drop it and then like nudge it with my foot. Um, the that's yeah, that's the extent of that. The yeah. I don't love the idea that she will be transferred and kept somewhere else, but I guess it's better than letting it free.
If it is
Like,
any. Oh, please.
Oh, no
well, or
color. Thank you.
like I don't know, is justice done if she's destroyed? I don't know. Um, I,
If it is any comfort, as I was ripped through several layers of hell, as I reached out in order to in order to pull her soul into General Azulana's music box.
I think that's worse.
Hmm?
I think that's worse. I think that
Yeah.
the fact that you had to do that is worse
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
for her tally board.
we're
And she
keeping.
stole our car.
She stole my
We are keeping.
Give me the box.
Yeah.
We are keeping score. Let's be honest about that. But I do believe that there is some good in her. And when I was holding her hand over the cliff, she did seem to shake something. Something shook from her. The scales from her eyes, I would like to say. And I was not imagining that, right?
Correct.
I but
Yeah,
I
there was a
fear
point where
for
you
her
skull
immortal
influenced
soul,
go away.
and yeah.
Yeah, there's a point where Odette saw like her friend Chantel and not the insane warlock that you'd been dealing with for quite some time.
The path to redemption is long, but I understand what you mean.
Picturing all of you kind of walking back towards Yusef's manor house as you're talking through this, and you can see like the whole town, the whole city is just alive with activity. Like people are moving carts and horses, and people are running around with like supplies. And Val, you'd recognize a lot of this. Like on the civilian side, like people are making barricades and doing the best to like prep on the defensive and like get more like vulnerable people into like safer locations. And then of course
War
you see
preparation.
like sergeants yelling orders to like rally troops and bring people up online for inspections and like making sure that like formations are accounted for and people have all their equipment and it's properly prepared. And it's just busy everywhere you look. Somebody is doing something. This is going to be just a massive event, and you all kind of feel that hanging over the city as you get back to Yusef's manor. Kind of walk in the door. Gray is sitting there at the kitchen table and just drinking a cup of tea and looking through a book of some type. And he turns to see all of you and like looks happy and goes, "Ah, Bella, you're back. I need to talk to you. Hopefully your errands went well."
Oh,
It was hell. Huh.
yeah.
Right?
What?
I, but I it ended well. I think. Yeah. Let's talk. What did you need to talk to me about?
Says, the rest of you are you're welcome to stay as well. I want to. I think I have an idea on how to reverse engineer Zengi's machine.
Are
I
you
don't know.
saying give life back to the people?
Effectively, yes. The like span that it would cover is limited. I don't think we can undo what happened in Shar, but recent events, I think anything that's been affected by um, him and his magic, we might be able to at least mitigate some of that damage, or anything that
So,
happens on the battlefield.
so if he was to be able to activate the machine, we could get one get out of jail free card.
Yes, provided we're there and like we'd have to be there at the machine. Um,
How much recent time are we talking? Seconds, minutes, hours, days?
maybe the last like 3 or 4 days.
Well, that's not bad.
And now
I've had worse.
to be clear, I ran the numbers on this. Like anybody who just is killed by, I don't want to say natural means, but like
Stab.
mundane means, yes, like killed in battle by arrows or swords. I don't think this will do anything for them. But anyone who is effectively pulled into and had their like incarnum harvested for this, for like a lack of better phrase, we might be able to fix that so that anyone who is trapped there is no longer trapped. And
So
those
if he
other,
wiped out a third of the planet, we could bring him back.
theoretically, yes. And
And it would
The
take the Incarnum back away from Zengi.
yes.
but
Now,
only from the ones that it's like most recent, so not like those that were converted with the Desolation of Shar.
no, it's so far back at this
I,
point. I don't know if there's any power that could reverse that. That would be something probably beyond godlike power. But it means that there's a shot that we can reverse some of the damage that was done, and even if people like for some reason they don't, this is a dark thought, but they don't have bodies to return. He wouldn't say that actually. He's more callous than that. Some people don't have like bodies to return to because of the damage. Like at least their souls would ascend to wherever they're destined to go, and they wouldn't be trapped somewhere in like the ether.
we don't need the bomb.
I might have missed that one. If he kills a third of the planet, they don't get to go to the ever after. They just get sucked up. I like this man less than I did before. I didn't think it was possible, but I like Zengi even less.
No, it's absolutely horrifying. It's not just, oh, I have to kill you all. It's I have to soul harvest you all and put this to my like ninja blender in order to make this
I need to make a smoothie.
Yeah. And it's like this
Will
smoothie's gonna
it
give me
blend?
yes, it will.
You would be surprised.
On today's episode, 1/3 of the population of the Sword Coast. Turns out it will blend. Oh my god.
Ew.
But yeah, he's got this. He's got a
Sorry, is
bunch
anybody
of, like,
else seeing like the sludge from the Teletubbies right now?
Ooh, you know
I
what? I wasn't
cannot-
thinking
I
about it,
can't
but
Okay,
now.
well, sorry.
Follow you on that one.
Oh.
Yeah,
But
not a
yeah,
teacher.
He is. It looks like he's like hand drawn out a bunch of schematics.
There's a GIF. Oh, okay.
But he like lays out a bunch of different it's like schematics and things. It looks like he's kind of like hand drawn, which are ridiculously precise and detailed for someone just going from memory. But you can see a couple times where he's had to like erase something and like and change it. But it takes up the whole counter space when he like puts all these papers out, starts unfolding different things, and says, we'd have to be there, and we'd effectively have to reverse the polarity of the machine. And that would, in magical terms, require just a massive arcane, element or ignition source.
So the Fount of Arcanum.
That could do it.
Is the Arcanum that is already there? That has already been...
I'm assuming he means the giant pillar that half of which went into Itzel and half went into Bella.
Yes.
Understood.
I believe we've talked about the sheer amount of power that is. That it's a huge responsibility that you all have been given. But also we could use it to cast a wish spell.
And the machine would amplify it. That's the key piece. The wish could probably affect the lives of maybe a dozen, maybe a score of people around you. If we rewire the machine, it could amplify it easily 100-fold, which is how I got these numbers at the end. Something to think about, Bella. I thought that might be nice to hear.
No, that's great. Thank you. We can go over all of this in depth, and you can, walk me through what I have to do in case, the more people who know how to do this, the better. Just, we don't know what's going to happen, so.
Of course. And he starts like pulling out a couple of like instruction lists that he's written out, and starts like going through like, okay, so when you get to the machine, the first thing you have to do is you have to like effectively disable the arcane locks on it, right? And it starts talking through like how to get inside and effectively rewire, less engineering and more just like actually changing the like type of magic in this machine from necromancy to more of a like restorative conjuration type. It's complicated as all hell, right? It's very doable. You're able to follow it, but this is something where you realize very quickly in a vacuum, heck yeah. If you are like in the middle of a fight when this is happening, this is going to be the hardest thing in the world to try to like pull off because there's so many variables that you got to make sure like everything's aligned properly. And if you miss a step, it could just explode.
Unless you put a force cage
Yay.
around yourself.
Mm-hmm. So
Yay.
a lot of risk, and he does say that. He says there's a possibility that if we overcharge and repolarize this machine, and it's not properly calibrated before we turn it on, it could cause extreme damage. I wanted to be very clear about that. So we cannot turn it on unless we are sure it's right. Otherwise, there may not be a city to save.
But you are saying that if one of us or our friends were to fall in battle, then that would be reversed as well.
Provided that your physical form was still intact enough for that, yes.
Now, I do not want to scare anybody, but you said several days, up to 4 or 5 days
Mhm.
as well. So it was a small single woman show. Yes, there was a lot of singing, but I played a woman who was trapped underground, buried in her own sarcophagus. Would that also be a thing that could happen? Because that would be terrible. I had to imagine it. I actually spent a night, just, to method act, a night in a coffin in order to do this. But no one who died within the past couple of days who were stuck underground would have that experience, no?
Greg kind of like tilts his head and goes,
Did you see the show?
I
It was
Bella,
about 90 years ago, but
Bella, did we see that? I don't remember that.
I don't think so. Sorry, Odette. That doesn't sound like something I made it.
you were
All right.
traveling at the time, I think.
Yeah, up until recently, I kind of went where she went.
Oh.
Putting
Sorry.
it mildly.
Sounds like a great show.
But that, regardless, single woman shows, it was my early days. I am better a part of an ensemble. But that wouldn't be, going to the point, that would not be our risk, no?
A risk of potentially being trapped somewhere. I don't think that would be a factor. I think we would just be very dead.
Oh.
If the machine is activated correctly, there's a risk that all of our souls are ripped out and turned into whatever power source Zengi needs. If we miscalibrate the machine, we're probably just dead. But if we do the calibration correctly, I think we can fix a lot of damage. Maybe not everything, but it'd be better than we left it.
I'll keep to my jewelry and small music boxes and watches. I'll let you figure that out.
And he goes back to like kind of nods and then goes back to talking with Bella about like, okay, this the wiring's super important here, like because if you cross the wires, like you're just going to disintegrate.
Don't cross the streams.
Yep. And around that time, we see like Yusuf in the background. He's also at this point has like told the staff to barricade the house, and is basically making sure that there's like a provisions. Like a lot of the people that are outside, he said, hey, when we move out towards Neverwinter, bring them inside. Like they are provisions for them. They need to be inside of a safe place. There's no reason for them to stay on the backyard if a war is about to break out. That's why they can they can be defended in here. Cole is also in the background. I think he's just helping move supplies, right? As there's like large crates of just provisions being brought in for basically people to hunker down. In the event that this, campaign turns bad and suddenly Waterdeep is on the defensive now, because crazier things have happened when you start a war with the demonic and the undead. And he like sees Odette and kind of just, these crates are heavy. Hey,
Hi, how are you?
yeah. Honestly, I like moving the crates is nice. It feels like I'm really helping.
I can understand that. It keeps your mind off of it. I have a lot of weird news to tell you that affects you personally. And I think she goes into it and she just like explains everything. And so the general should be staying with probably us tonight if there is still room in the house here.
Yusuf like stops what he's doing, turns, and like realizes who this is, and it's just like,
I'm sorry,
my
who?
friend. I've heard so much about you. Please, and like runs over and like just gives him a big hug, and is like, sorry, is it a? You're welcome to stay as long as you like. Please, let me get you a room.
Yes. There you go. Have a hug.
And General Azalana says, "Thank you. You're very kind." Cole, it's a pleasure to meet you. Is it meet or has he?
Oh no! He directed us.
Okay.
That's how we
Thank you.
fell in love.
So he looks at Cole and just like breaks out into a big smile and says, "It's good to see you again." And Cole just like drops the crate for a second. Is like, "Holy crap!" Oh wow! And like grabs him and like picks him up and does like a big like spin of a hug and is like, "It is so good to see you. We have been." I'm not gonna lie. We need a director in our lives. This has been a mess. I'm so glad you're back, sir. Wow, you look fantastic. Considering, I'm sorry. I don't know if that's. It's been a lot, but it's good to see you. And General just kind of smiles and says, "It's good to be back. I've spent far too long being a passenger for events, and like to help out a bit." And Odette, I just wanted to make sure. I know I said it once before, but thank you for not giving up on me.
Of course. I learned that you never gave up on me, and the circumstances of your death hit the entire company very hard. Though I knew you were passing Zerines to me, it is good to have you here. You need not say anything more. Just your presence alone is good. To hear your voice, to see your face, of course, is good. I don't want to take up any time for people's preparations or any other conversations they need to have, but Cole, I figured we might as well just get married tonight.
Get it out the way.
Cole just like stops, goes through like 9,000 different emotions really quickly, and then just ends up bursting out in a smile. And it's like, you always did have a good eye for theatrics.
I appreciate it. You did propose to me before I was able to propose to you, so I feel that we're even now.
That's true. Yeah, I did catch you, so I guess a little by surprise. Although I think you were ready for it, but
Yes, I
yeah,
thought
let's do it.
the best I could find you was a wedding necklace. So
It was beautiful.
thank you. You're beautiful.
Um, he kind of like looks at his clothes and is like, "I think maybe I should change." But
Let's go change. We'll just find something. I have a hat of disguise upstairs. You can just wear it.
I do love that hat. Okay, yeah, let's do this.
Yes,
Oh my god, this is gonna be. I'm genuinely. I'm so excited.
I am too. But when else on? But on the eve of the battle, right?
Yeah, but that's tomorrow. That's a tomorrow problem.
Yes.
I want to focus on. This may sound selfish, but we've only got a few hours before things get really intense. Just want to focus on you for a bit.
Oh, we'll focus on us. And she, like, puts her hands around his.
Oh.
But I also do not want to take up like any other conversations or planning we need to do. So
I think he gives you a quick like hug and kiss and he goes, let me go grab that hat."
yeah, no, I'll follow you.
Okay. They run off.
So much fun in the bedroom. Yes.
Chase.
You hear like a lot of thumping, like the chandelier starts moving, and you just flash it upstairs to Odette being like, "I just want to put the hat here." He's like, "We're gonna find this thing, I swear." Yeah, just moving boxes. What are you rest all doing with the evening? I know Bella's kind of going over some plans with Gray, but there's time for other stuff as well. Itzel and Valen.
Helping with prep, I think. I'm I'm sorry. I'm gonna make the assumption that Valen is gonna be helping with like the local guards and the sergeants and stuff that are doing like
I
provisions
did that.
about. No,
I,
okay.
I actually spent a lot of time working with them before we had the duel.
Yes, I do remember that. Yes.
Tonight, because we hit level 17, Valen got Commune as a thing he can
Oh.
Hell
do
yeah.
now, and he wants to have a moment tonight with Tempest. Just the two of us.
Nice.
And I
All
want
right,
to
that was my
ask
fault. I
his
assumed.
guidance.
Yeah.
Uh, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Please give me some notes, please. Just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a page in the? I know I didn't read it, but is
Yeah.
there a page in the book for taking on a god? I might have missed it. I skimmed that part.
I love it.
Yeah. Until it gets dark enough for stars, I think Itzel is going to be like wild shaped into, like a mule or something and be helping with prep. The like probably would not have announced herself as like a druid in wild shape either, so that just at some point people are like, this is a really fucking weird horse. But the like the first time somebody tries to use a crop or something, like they gets like a nice like step on the toe. But yeah, um,
I like that.
and then
Sorry, I'm just
yeah,
thinking of
and then once it's actually dark enough for stars, she'll do her thing out, because we love Yusuf's backyard with the big old pond, and the trees. But
and I think I don't know if you can get into it, but like Odette did like leave instructions about that star room inside of the Book of Shadows. I don't know if that's also helpful, but I don't know. Ages ago,
It's
there
been a
was
bit.
that we were tumbling through the inside of
yes,
the book, and you noticed that, and you're like, we have to go back there. But
Mhm.
she would make that available to you if you
yeah,
wanted it.
yeah. Um, yeah, I'm thinking it's a night for I don't know, not like like tea ceremony sounds wrong, but like kind of that level of like ritual.
Mhm.
Right.
The
Reflection,
So,
Yes,
actual.
probably also some actual fucking tea, but yeah,
centering.
um, yeah.
I like that. Let's we'll start with Valen. Valen, where do you go to commune?
It'd have to be his little chamber that he. No, that was where the hell did he have his room that he had designed? No, that was in the
The Undying Realms.
The Undying Realms. Thank you. So let's see. We are now in the war camp near Neverwinter.
So as of right now, y'all are still in Waterdeep.
We're still
So
in Waterdeep. Okay.
yes, the
Um,
tomorrow
I'm going to
morning,
go
everyone's going to
to.
march out.
Okay, I'm going to go to a Temple of Tempest. I'm assuming we have one here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to basically find the head priest and kick him out of his room and be like, "I'm sorry, I need this for a minute. This is very important. Just gonna
Uh,
just gonna lock the doors of the temple for a minute, and tonight's gonna be a big deal. Yeah,
honestly, like a month ago, they would have been like, "Who the hell are you?" And like, "What are you doing here?" Tonight, like, you walk in and like heads just turn and stare at you, and people like whisper, and some people like salute. And it's very much a like everyone knows who you are at this point. And as you approach the head priest, he's more than happy to say, "Oh, yes, of course, you can. Please use anything you need to.
cool.
We're all in this together."
Yeah, and Valen has never been real big on the church and the rituals and the rules, but he is right now. He's doing the holy water. He's going through the motions. He's doing a real prayer.
Okay. What is this? So you go into the chamber and like just walk me through like what does this look like? Are you burning incense? Are you this is like a chanting thing? Is it a meditation thing? Like
There's a cleansing. You take off the armor and just kind of set it up there, and you're going to cleanse yourself of all of the detritus of your job.
okay.
Did I
And
lose
then
everybody? All of my stuff is frozen. All right.
I can still
Well,
hear you, but
oh, good.
your video is just stopped. But okay.
All right. We'll just leave that as it is then. But yeah, he's got to prepare himself in body, and then there is probably kneeling before the altar and clearing his mind and just kind of preparing for talking to the boss man.
Okay. Component for the commune spell is you light up some incense, right, as part of that like cleansing piece. And what do you say? You kind of reach out towards Tempest.
Just Lord, we've been through a lot, you and and I feel like it's been a pretty good run. I didn't really know what to expect when you gave me this job, but I've tried my damnedest. Uh, and right now, I could use some guidance.
It's quiet after you say that. Sit for a moment, kind of with that thought in your head of guidance, and there's a bit of a breeze that comes to the temple, which is odd because there aren't any open windows in here. And slowly the smoke from the incense starts to form a rather large figure, um, just made of this kind of smoky ephemeral look, in just massive with full plate armor, Cadillac strapped to his back, and Tempest appears in this incense smoke and says, "You've done well. You've been challenged with a series of very intense battles, both on the battlefield and off of it. And you've met every single one with, well, courage and a bit of humor, which I appreciate."
You knew what you were signing up for when you hired me.
I had a feeling that you would go far. Now, according to the spell, let me make sure I got this right. There are 3. You can ask 3 yes or no questions.
I forgot there's actual wording for this.
I'm not going to hold you to that directly, but you know how it is in conversations with deities. They don't give you all the answers all the time. But you can ask 3 yes or no questions, and they'll respond at the very least. Yeah, maybe directly, maybe not. But what's the first question you want to ask?
Do you believe this plan will work? Using the god's tear to expel him from her body and lock his ass in a box.
He smiles and he says, I believe that you and your friends have created many opportunities with the resources that have been put in your path. I believe you are in a position to continue to create opportunities to show courage and be successful.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Hello, Raiders. It says, so far you've succeeded at almost insurmountable tasks. I see no reason why that would change.
Is Gray being straight with us about his ability to reverse engineer this thing and actually get that chance to undo this mass genocide?
Yes, but it's not that simple.
Of course not.
His research and theories are valid. They will work. Whether they're put into practice correctly, that's another opportunity.
So you think there's entirely a chance that if we put him into the position where he could do this and then give him a giant font of power, it may not go as well as we would hope?
His eyes kind of glaze over for a moment, and they shift back, and he says, power is a complicated thing. Some people given immense amount of powers, and he looks towards like the Holy Avenger. They make the choice to use that power for the best good they can. Hopefully, when others are presented with that same choice, they have the will and the insight to follow the best path.
Okay.
I cannot tell you what he will do, but I can tell you that will be a challenge.
Okay.
It will be a challenge for anyone.
I think that's all that all of us can do in this in what's about to go down. You think we got a shot?
He smiles at that and just says, "You're still breathing, aren't you?"
Yeah.
As long as you're still in the fight, there's always a chance.
All right. We'll do what we do.
Let me see your sword.
Just instantly pulls it out.
And like he kind of takes it with those smoky ephemeral hands, and it kind of floats in front of you for a second.
And that's probably actually that is something important to remember. I don't know if I brought this up before, but the symbol of office for a priest of Tempest is the gauntlet. He has that big, just like black steel, does not match the rest of any of his shit gauntlet. So he would still be wearing that.
He says, now, it would be wrong for a deity such as myself to interfere directly to change the course of something like this.
Of course.
But it would also be wrong for someone of my station to ignore the work and the effort and the successes of one of my most devout followers.
Excuse me.
So with that, and the sword glows as it kind of floats back towards you. He goes, I bestow upon you a physical manifestation of your successes over the challenges presented to you. This is not a divine gift. This is an earned power. Use it wisely. And adding to the Holy Avenger, it is now a +3 longsword.
Oh, cool.
And once per long rest, you can cast the spell Daylight.
Oh, that does sound useful.
I'm sorry, not Daylight. I apologize. That's the wrong spell.
Okay.
Sunbeam.
That's okay. I like that better.
Which is ludicrous. Yeah, it
A beam of brilliant light flashes out from your hand in a 5-foot wide, 60-foot long line. Each creature must make a con save. On a failed save, take 6d8 radiant damage and be blinded. On successful save, it takes half as much damage. It isn't blinded, but undead and oozes have disadvantage. You can create a new line of radiance as your action on any turn up to 1 minute. Okay.
it's a very, very, very dumb spell, and I love it. Yeah, if you maintain
This light
concentration,
is sunlight.
yes, if you maintain concentration, you can do 10 rounds of fucking sunbeams to melt people's faces.
That's this is. Thank you, Lord. This is amazing.
This is rad as fuck, Lord.
It's basically yeah.
He nods.
Immediately turned blowhole inside of the church.
Everyone else said, "Oh my god, the attack started!" And he smiles at that and just says, "Well, seems almost self-explanatory, but I send my regards." And mists away.
Yeah, that's awesome.
As this thing is literally just like glowing with radiant energy to the point where you feel it should be unsafe to handle. Like this thing should be like hot or just like damaging you in some way, but it's not. It feels very very correct in your hands.
Yeah, before it gave off, probably no mechanical difference, but before when activated, it gave off radiant energy, radiant light, and now when activated, it's hard to look at.
Mm-hmm. It's like a small sun, like lens flare almost. If people look directly at it, they're like, "Oh, what the hell?"
Nice.
And then, yeah, the incense blows. The image of Tempest is gone.
Nice. He's probably still going to spend the rest of the night at the altar.
Okay. Good spell. Itzel. Sun's starting to go down.
Cool. You know, flick the tail and head back to Yusuf. So.
As the stars start to twinkle and emerge, what do you do?
So she's going to. I think she's going to leave Metzley out of this one, possibly because also like Metzley's probably doing her own like the prep and like personal reflection, etc. And like her rituals are not exactly the same.
You crack a door to Metzley's room. She's basically like created the flower room from Encanto,
Yeah.
and it's
Yes.
just like singing through it.
Yep. Like, is her character kind of based on? It's fine. Anyway, so she'll go down to like Yusuf has that like pond in the back of his estate that she's what's it called, been in before, and she'll set up like next to the edge of the pond, like do some like sort of drawing in the dirt with her finger, like some of um, the constellations that she uses when she becomes her like incorporeal form. So like she'll make like the archer and the dragon and the chalice. And she's got like a mixture of like herbs and salt that smells horrendous, but is all of like the sacred stuff that she's get like back from home. Like this is like the little pouch we haven't touched yet because it's like the stuff I cannot get here. And she'll like sprinkle that into each of the symbols that she's made, and like light like an oil lamp that will like just float in the water like immediately in front of, but like not necessarily disturbing the so that like the surface of the pond is nice and smooth so that it can like reflect the stars in the water surface, so she can sort of do her like observation on something that's like down, not necessarily up. And she's not gonna like write anything down, but the like taking note of like what is slightly different color tonight, or like what is scintillating more than usual, or the same kinds of like things that start that like meditative trance before she gets in the place where she could like receive a vision, and basically hoping that there's going to be something that she hasn't read yet in all of the like the usual things that she would do to quiet her mind.
Okay. As you sit and you start to go into this meditative state, what are you looking for? What are you pondering on?
She's like, she knows the gravity and the scope of their mission and the like, I mean, they know from Sunshine and Dusty, like people have failed this before. So it's a what are we missing? Like there's like, is there something to interpret that I haven't seen yet, or like what have I not been open to? Like what's what's the secret sauce that we haven't seen, or what they haven't seen before in the iterations that have come before us? Like this is like a last ditch sort of like checking through my notes again. Like what's the am I going to find the piece of the puzzle that clicks together? is what she's looking for. Like what in this like set of omens is might I have missed the many times that I have looked at this before.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a. I'll take Arcana, Religion, or History at advantage.
I get to roll something. Okay.
We occasionally use dice in this game.
I mean,
Is this the first dice roll of the night?
yes. Other
Huh.
than yours, you said you rolled one earlier and it was a d20, so I was like, "Oh God, we're gonna die."
I did.
But
That's my calibration die. It's
mhm.
next one was a 7, so this is well balanced.
Hold on one second. I have numbers for this.
What do you missed?
Okay, you said Arcana or
Arcana, Religion, or History.
okay. Arcana and History doesn't make a difference, but I think Arcana is gonna be funner, and that's more of her speed anyway. And I'm rolling a physical dice for this because I can. Okay. All right, it's a 16,
Okay.
but it's 16 plus 8, so that's 24.
Do you want to roll again, see if we get higher? Advantage.
I mean, sure.
That is how advantage
There's
do.
no reason not to.
No.
Okay. 16 it is.
Sorry, that was a 3. No.
Hey, you have a 20% chance,
Yeah.
You are asking yourself, what are you missing, right? And everything you go over seems to kind of fall into place in its right sections. And you're like, okay, you understand the Infernal Machine, you understand the Incarnum, you understand like how we got here, with the history with Bella, like the lies and deceptions that you finally managed to like punch through with all these things that were hidden that have now come to light, the elements of like how this reads on a cosmic scale, like what the different information that Dusty and Sunshine and other like extra planar beings have kind of like nudged, some more aggressively than others, Dusty, to kind of push things in a direction to hopefully stop this horrific event. And all of that, even things that like happened at the time where information was cryptic, has come to light and has fallen into place. There's one thing that you notice though, after I'd say probably about an hour of going through these notes, because there's a lot of things, a lot of players, a lot of different information that you piece together. And you end up writing down a question in your notebook that you start flipping back through, and you realize you don't have an answer to it. There's nothing that was ever further enlightened, except for one moment where Zengi made a promise, some sort of exchange. It wasn't clear. It was a vision you saw from the journal to a dragon. And you go back and you check your notes. Hasn't been. It's just not there. Like, it's just not mentioned, right? Like that one scene is recorded to the best of like the knowledge you had at that time, but there's nothing else on that. There was just some deal made, and that's a huge just gap that kind of plunges your heart into just a cold place of, oh, what the fuck is this?
Cool. Do I have time and access to the edge of Lady Alora's realm and like I don't know, like freaking stealing some grapefruit off of Yusef's trees? The
Oh, to try to talk to my Nerith.
yes.
I was wondering.
I will say yes. But what I'm going to ask you is, and this is not a power roll necessarily, because there's teleportation circles and there's other means of accessing and channeling information, right? Just how do you reach out to him?
Honestly, she was planning on just like if I can get to like back to like the gate that we went, the wall, whatever, the portal from Lady Alora's realm, where like we went into the cave system the first time, like basically like going into my like dragon constellation and like with an offering of like the green stuff, etc., the living things from our plane, and fruit, because we know fruit. Like, I don't know, like seedlings or whatever stuff I can probably steal from Metzley. I'll apologize later.
I think as you think through this, you realize that it may be hard to get out of the city right now because a lot of the things are gated, but you may be able to reach out in a more metaphysical manner.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Like,
like as you're thinking through like the dragon constellations, you're like, maybe I could nudge this and see if there's a connection there, because that seemed to have a big impact to him when he saw it.
yeah.
And as you kind of reach in that direction, you do start to kind of feel not necessarily your body, but like just your mind or your spirit, whatever you want to call it, starting to traverse and like make
guys, I'm
this
astral
connection.
projecting. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm pretty sure you're very close to having that spell anyway.
Yeah. The.
But
Okay.
yeah, you're able to effectively reach out.
Got it. So I think the thing that she's going to kind of like as she heads into that, like the shadows of the cave system, and like she's going to sort of like cloak her, like the thing that she wants her like spirit to emanate in addition to this like dragon constellation, but like is just that smell of the like different like life smells that he was missing, right? Like the smell of like soil and green and like the like actual like salt of seawater and all of the stuff that like he was missing in his home realm, and not expecting that Minerith is necessarily the dragon that Zengi made a bargain with, though that would be really really convenient, but at least doing the like you might know this and I can speak draconic, so yeah, like that, just like the basic like every essence o druid smell, and like the sensation of sunlight on skin and touching grass and all of like is sort of what she's hoping to like radiate as she heads over, so he knows both sort of like I come in peace but also like potentially asking a favor. Thank you.
There's a moment where you reach out, you find yourself kind of in this weird in between, but definitely able to reach into that cave and walk that very fine line between like I'm not quite in the shadow fell.
Yeah, just fucking grip it, baby.
Thank you for the donation.
Slop that down, dude. Yeah, dude. Crack one for the big boy.
Hey.
More advantage points for when you actually roll. We'll be doing a lot of that next session. And the first thing you hear is just a very, very powerful, like, inhale. Like, what is that?
That's the good shit.
And then Manareth, like, looks around and then just exhales a little bit of smoke from his nostrils and then sees kind of like an outline of your form and is like, oh, welcome back.
Did you sound so much like Sean Connery last time, or am I imagining this?
Dragons, like people, their
Yeah,
voices change
fine.
over time.
Yep, cool. Yep. Eons in the dark. Watched a movie recently. It's fine. Yep.
I don't remember what his voice sounded like. To be
I don't
honest.
either. And I'm like, I know it wasn't this, but I don't remember what it was.
So,
it's fine.
Hello, Moneypenny. How are you?
hello. Yeah. Listen, let's keep this quick. I have to be at Wimbledon at 11. I'm sorry. Let's make it 10ish.
God.
Anyway,
Okay.
he says. he says.
I'm sorry.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
We need you, 007. No,
Oh, of course. Flip picks up his tail like a gun. Like,
yep. The car is real cool. I missed something in the stars, and we were granted an insight into the foe we've been pursuing. And I know he made a deal with a dragon. I don't believe that we're lucky enough that would necessarily be you, but we are. It would be, if you knew anything that could guide us to what was agreed, or who, or even what kind. Anything would be an advantage to bring into battle, to hope that the loss of life will not be quite so dear, and that this round will do better.
Manareth thinks about this. And he says, it was not me that made the deal. That I can assure you. I have no interest in dealing with things like him. Those deals come with hidden costs. And he breathes a little bit of smoke out of his nostrils while he's thinking. Zengi, this was many centuries ago. In his later research, made multiple visits to Thay. And around that time, I recall, oh, names may be lost to me, but there are three very powerful dragons in that area. And, well, one listens to lore and stories. It's odd when names of powerful dragons like that simply stop appearing. That's pretty good.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking in the Discord. The dragon from the fuck is that movie? Dragonheart, voiced by Sean Connery.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They disappeared.
At the very end of the movie, he legit says, "Look to the stars."
Look to the stars.
Because
Look
it's
to
so
the
hard.
stars. No, we gotta take that for a drive. Look to the
All
stars.
connection.
It's
all
the constellations are the answer to seek. I'm Sean Connery. But he says, three dragons of note simply vanished.
two vanished. But I mean, they'd be an incredible source of incarnum if
Undoubtedly.
which one didn't?
He pauses and says, "We're only three on Thay. Now, if Janki made a deal with these dragons, I don't think he would have simply used them as a source of incarnum. They're more powerful to him as allies. But
Oh,
what?
I just assumed the dragons were being, you know, inter forces within their own. I honestly I didn't think that he'd be able to influence them so much as they were using that for their own ends.
Perhaps dragons, like all other things, will eventually leave this plane. Perhaps they were interested in his research. The only reason I'm still here is I don't quite follow the rules of mortality. The Shadowfell does strange things. I wish I knew more.
So, but that would mean that there's one dragon extant on Thay.
Yep. Three dragons on Thay, three
Yeah.
dragons disappeared.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I heard two vanished. Okay,
Sorry.
never mind.
Yeah. Do you want a dragon ally?
No, I'm more worried about having one that's against us. But yeah, the um. Okay. And that was long enough ago that if we do manage to reverse the polarity, it's not like
Oh,
we would bring back.
centuries.
Okay.
Sorry, I wish I had more.
I, if the deal was made with a dragon and three disappeared, like I guess I don't understand what the deal could have been for. Hmm.
I wish I knew.
Okay. Um, well, if there's another side to this, um, I'll see you there. But
Well, rest assured, if
thank you for giving
things,
us a direction anyway.
of course, and if things do, well, if things don't go the way you plan, you can always return here and dance with
Grow
us.
some trees.
And then to feel yourself slowly moving back into your body. Um, so yeah, dragons, some deal that they made with Zangi, but concerning. And
Yeah.
there's a line in your brain that kind of sticks there, which is well, all things eventually pass from this plane.
Yeah. No, that's sticky. Yes.
But it kind of brings you back to the quiet, calm garden. And at this point now, the moon has come up, a brilliant, nearly full moon. As we kind of fade over towards Bella. Having talked through all this with Gray, you have a pretty good understanding about the schematics and like what would be required to actually pull this off. And it's complicated, it's dangerous, and are you still with us, or are your screen just frozen? Okay, you moved again. Can you hear me? Is the question.
She is having some trubs.
Bruce, can you hear us? Oh.
I think Jen might be frozen.
Can't tell.
Her face is still moving, but I think she's just devoutly looking at her computer trying to figure it out.
Yeah, audio is kind of shot there, I think.
Yeah, I know there was an issue with like Chrome and Video Ninja for a little while. Firefox, I think, was the solution, but I don't know.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, I just got her message. So. Oop.
Yeah, I'm on Firefox and it's still been bizarrely laggy today. I haven't had issues like this. Like
I'm back on Chrome. It seems
I can hear you guys. The audio has been uninterrupted, but every once in a while my video gets like, which is great because I make very stupid faces all of the time, and when it freezes on Twitch, it's always on like the worst possible. Yeah.
Well,
oddly enough, I had that earlier when everything was frozen on my screen, but we could still hear each other. And for some reason, minimizing the window and bringing it back up fixed it.
Yeah, no, I was like basically just clicking away and then back, and that was sort of doing it.
The simplest turn it off and on again.
That's honestly, I had to do that earlier. But as just trying to figure that out, almost full moon brilliantly shining down over the night, as Cole has finally managed to find the hat of disguise with Odette's help, and it's changed into something like, I'll call it dancer chic formal.
Right.
It's like, it's very, I think it's like very like black gold and like silver tones, without being extravagant, but looks very much like something that could be both worn to a formal ball and allow for like elegant dancing on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And you recognize this is actually one of his costumes from the first performance that the two of you did together.
Oh, very nice.
And I think Yusef, upon hearing that there might be a wedding, has set up the balcony as it's kind of offered, like, hey, I can my friend, I can put a bunch of nice flowers and other things outside. And it's a beautiful view. It's a lovely night, and I'll make sure everyone is there. When do you want them there?
Considering his particular history and all of this is very pure of him.
Look, somebody's gonna have a nice fucking wedding in this campaign.
Yep.
God damn it.
And he like gets the details from Odette and like starts running around and finds Val and finds Itzel, right after you've had your time to have these contemplations. And it's like, hey, we got a wedding to be at.
Yeah. Itzel is going to have like once she like sort of shook off her vision, she would have like run upstairs and interrupted Metzley in whatever state she was in. Um, hello, um, and uh, like as Yusef grabbed us for this, I imagine that both of them were kind of like, oh, and started like growing things on the balcony for like along like twining along the like balustrade and everything in like the precise color of like shadowy purple that
Yes.
fits Odette's
Abs-
magic, and like uh weaving in like little bits of like the even like the green leaves have like little silvery bits to them in the veins of the foliage so that it matches like her and Cole's. Yeah.
Perfect. Um,
Hi, what are you yelling at me for?
Yusef will gather everybody. Who is everybody for Odette? Like, is this a you want the core cast there? Like obviously like Cole, not Metzler's going to show up. Father Stone will probably show up, right? Um, there are other people that you've run into, like some of the council members would show up.
I
Just make
guess
a little
my
available.
parents they showed up at one point.
Your parents would show up.
Uh,
Um,
I
I'm asking, is this everybody or is this everyone? I apologize if
uh,
that was too loud.
I
The
would
city
say maybe
guard,
like
that guy from the bar. Yeah.
Yeah. NPC 3 that you met at your first encounter.
the guy that we met in the casino who was actually just pretending to be somebody else, but it's a very good actor.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah.
The
Obadiah,
gangsters.
the boatman, Terry,
All
or,
the
or
gangs.
Terrence.
I think she would say like enough of the people that like if they come up and it seems like they should be there, they would be there.
Absolutely.
But like her parents probably, although she is going to have, I think, um, probably General Azulana give her away.
Okay.
Um, uh,
Uh, yeah.
and then unless yeah, wait a second. Yeah, no, I think that would make sense. She would pick Bella as like a bride's person. Um,
Yes.
that's
Gray is
all I'm
there.
really. Oh, and then like yeah, Lady Alora should probably be there too. So
Gray, Lady Laura makes it. A bunch of the council members make it. We basically managed to put about 50 people in this like really nice half circle in and around the balcony that's been very well laid out with like Itzel and Metzley just making the area honestly beautiful. I think there's also with like the different colors and spectrums of the flowers. There's like little like lightning bugs or other things that have been kind of pulled in to just like create like a little
Mhm.
ambient, almost starlight around this. You know, there's a nice, beautiful like moon on a cloudless night, kind of shining down, almost like spotlight into this
mm,
Mm.
balcony area.
Yeah.
Um,
And all the night blooming flowers are just letting off that like perfect like jasmine perfume.
great.
Yep.
and
I could light this place up.
you, she's, and Yusuf says to Odette, it says, "Do you need me to find uh, a officiant, a priest, or someone to? Is it
No,
just the two of you?
um, no. I think there are two members of the team that have a connection to the divine. I think it's enough.
He smiles
Uh,
and like nods at that and says, well, it's your night, please."
she nods. She asks Valen if he would like to participate. Obviously, um, don't know if you want to be a groom's person
Sure.
or help with the ceremony. It seems like Itzel is tackling the ceremony. If I'm
Oh,
incorrect,
sure. Rock on.
or like
I was figuring
either
you were
one
gonna
of
ask
you.
Valen, but I'm good with that. That's
Hell
cool.
yeah!
Nope. Valen's absolutely good being groomsman.
You can also tag team. Doesn't matter.
That's
Um,
yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, she comes down and she also uh, um, I think she's put enough like kind of like layered illusions on her, as well as like that dress, that all of the stuff that we wore to the party is absolutely destroyed at this point. But
I say
um,
this: the two of you standing on
Um,
the balcony, like
mhm.
describe like how what Odette is
Oh
like
yeah,
wearing. Like what's the mood? What's the vibe?
oh yeah. I think she's wearing. Um, it doesn't look like a wedding gown, but it looks like a gown that's like rather tight, I guess, uh, around form, but like kind of like uh, um, eventually kind of like releases into kind of like displays into uh, displays into a thing. I'm having words right now.
Pooling.
So
a train.
pools at the ground and has like just like the shortest trail that nobody needs to manage that. Unless it's Bon Bon, and that's fine. Bon Bon can be
Bon Bon
Bon
has
Bon
the
can carry the
rings.
Bon
train.
Bon has a ring.
Um,
Um, Squirtle or whatever our water weird is called, and
Burble.
Burble
Burble.
can be the flower creature. Like
Okay. Yes. Uh, no, that's fantastic because like we
mhm,
can do like little like jumping puddles to precede you as you're going down and
mhm.
I was
like
gonna say
moonlight off of like just the tiniest bit of little like sparkles of water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
Burble
then
is
he's
the
going to make like a
backdrop
little
for the
waterfall
ceremony. Yeah.
behind the arch we've made as
It's just a waterfall. It's just Burble continuously looping.
yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
But yeah, so she wears um, black lace shadow, like that purple, like you were talking about. Itzel, the purple kind of shadowy luminescent. What happened? I
Chat.
missed it. Oh
Vindication.
my gosh. So, but it pulls into like a mixture of like of shadow, like a dark shadow and like purple shadow and like mist and light. And I think like the little tiny uh, motes of moonlight and starlight kind of like
Hmm.
move their way down the silky train to like pool at the bottom. Um,
Incredible.
and but she
Okay.
like she has more silver to I think Cole's gold. Uh, yeah, and I think she takes um, the general's arm and like or I guess Cole goes down first. Whatever. This is non traditional.
Everyone gets set into place,
Hmm.
and I think the Ozlana and Odette have a moment
Hmm.
before you all walk in to the main area. Bella, everyone's gathered on the Yusef's balcony in like the moonlight with a bunch of very pretty decorations that people managed to like create or magically set up for this wedding. And
You are the bride's person.
Bon
If
Bon
you
has the rings. um,
uh, so yeah.
and the general says, so yeah, sorry, I need to think, my brain just stopped working for a second. Um, the general says, I am so very proud of you.
You're not just saying that because I avenged your death and brought you back to life.
No.
Well,
Mere hours ago, might I add?
I could see how that would feel obligatory, but no. Even if I weren't here, I haven't been a director or a general for a very long time. But I did get to see glimpses into your life, and even in everything you did was phenomenal. Everything you're going to do is going to be amazing.
Thank you.
And those are because of it's because of you, and it's because of Cole, and because of the friends around you. This is this is a this is right.
Thank you, Kozan. Kozan, you have been a... To say a father to me would be a dishonor to my father, and that's okay.
Oh,
He has had time to be my father. My mother has time to be my mother. But you were...
That's an insult to my dad, and I'm okay with that.
Which is okay. He still loves me. I saved his life too. So she says, but you have been more than a simple director to me. You've been more than my stage father. There you go. You have been more than um, my my work husband, but you have been a mentor to me, and you've shown me that I should be unafraid of my power. You should have taught me to be fearless in the moments of uncertainty, and I I would go to hell and back for you, and I'm glad I did, and I'm glad you could be here for me because I've learned a lot of this from you. So thank you for being there.
he smiles and gives you a hug. This
And
is
thank you for the music box. It's not mandatory anymore. We can deal with that when we do, but that was a very kind thought.
I'm glad it finally got to you.
Eventually. And you did
And
too.
he looks at towards the ceremony and then looks at you and says, "Well, I'm no longer the director. I'm going to need a little blocking instruction."
It's true. Not a thought for tonight, but it would be nice to be back in our theater and have some tea.
All the world's a stage.
All the world indeed. And she kind of like gives like a smoky eyed like wink to him, as she just kind of like uh, I think they make their way down the impromptu aisle.
Okay. And as you do, everyone stands up and there's music playing, and he walks you up to Cole and he gives Cole a very like I think he gives Cole a hug too, honestly,
Mhm.
and says, "Well, I'm excited to see where this next chapter goes," and kind of steps off to the side. And it's you and Cole.
Yeah. I mean, she looks for any if there is any guidance initially from Itzel, but I'm happy to jump in or whatever.
She is going to step up all of the sparkly fancy things that she can do. Like kind of like direct you two to like hold each other's hands, and she'll like send out little comets like that look like they're sort of entwining your hands
Are,
together.
are you in the starry form? One of the forms?
I
Or
can
your own
absolutely
form?
be. That is for sure a thing that I can do. With all of the shadow, it will be hard to see everybody, but it's fine. Valid's got sunbeam, will be okay. Yeah, like bloop. Um,
Whom.
yeah, in there's definitely a like lovers constellation in. It is not one of my official starry forms, but
It is
um,
now.
we'll Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely pull it
Um,
off for tonight.
so the yeah, so like the obviously like this is a ceremony celebrating your partnership and the life that you have already built together, and that uh the like as you two have built your incredible talent as dancers, you have also built your ability to move together and the trust that comes with that, like impeccable grace of being able to lead and give in turn that you two have done so well for one another. We've all seen in you such a beautiful dance of two very capable and elegant creatures is not the word that I'm looking for, but that is what came to my brain in this moment. Um, the as only the both most gracious and graceful can do. Um, the the marriage ceremony of my people is more about the life that you have chosen to like lead into together, and that the path that you choose to step on from now on, that you will be walking together, like so, hand in hand, and glittery stuff. The that I we need not recognize the bond that you already so clearly have forged together. That we merely are here to celebrate these two people that we love, and to allow you to shine in your own way, pun intended. Um, and yeah, she'll like kind of make a gesture to the like aisle that we had formed along, and like there'll be like the little like night blooming blossoms of the vines will open up, and little fireflies will start releasing into um and you'll hear the like a chorus of like cicadas and frogs, like like all of the like night sounds that you would normally hear, but sort of chirping together, so that it sounds both kind of like applause, but also like just a release of uh, you know joyful sound.
Oh.
Uh, and
Creatures of the night.
yes, like yeah, bats flying overhead. The like graceful swoops of um, yeah,
I love it.
and she'll like let you guys walk forward towards your retinue, or I don't know if you wanted to say anything also, but we're
Oh, uh, I'll say something.
Go ahead.
It is there's an old saying of performers and those that are gracious and asked to sing will never oblige, and those that aren't will never leave off. So I guess I'll say my speech anyway. Cole, the first moment that I saw you, I thought you were handsome, you were dashing, and you would never get your choreography right. Uh, but you proved me wrong. And as you played, as we were in uh, Dawn Till Twilight, you proved you stole my heart. It is not simply the connection that I noticed that we had, the chemistry that we had on the stage, but you were a kind soul off stage as well. And as you were the wolf and I was the moon, I felt we were drawn ever and ever closer. And when I told you about the knowledge that I have obtained from my great, 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 great grand aunt, she kind of looks in the audience. She says, You were the first who told me not to be afraid of it, that I could handle it. And you have proven yourself braver than any soul over and over again with your devotion and with your love, and you've proven that you've taught me how to trust not only others but myself, and I have you to thank for that. There is
It's like
a
a little
beauty.
tear.
There is a beauty, fierce as it is, a beauty in your beast, and for that I love you. I thank
Like,
you for your trust.
gives you a hug and takes your hands and says, "Wow." Um, but that from the moment I first met you, I was starstruck, moonstruck. It was a very powerful and a very immediate thing that I felt, and well, since that moment, both on and off stage, you've been my leading lady, and I'm happy to follow you anywhere, even to hell and back. And kind of gives like Kozan a little look. I think that watching you create beautiful things, even in the face of terrible adversity, has been an inspiration to myself and everyone. And well, as far as destiny goes, choosing people, and he looks at the rest of the party too and says, "All of you are amazing." But Odette, the grace in which you navigate the challenges of world changing events, so powerful and so very inspirational to everyone around you, myself included.
Thank you.
And just know that in this dance of life, I'll always be there to catch you.
Then we should. Would you join me in this party do?
I'd be honored. Um, I think the two of
She,
you begin to.
she has a ring, and she's like, this goes on here. Here we go.
Bonbon's like, "I got the rings." You know,
Oh yes. Thank you, Banman.
I didn't lose them. I was told it was really important.
You did an amazing job.
Um, gives a ring to each of you as you exchange rings. Um, Cole also, I think, pulls from kind of tucked away in his like in his belt, pulls out a single like purple black rose.
Oh,
Um, that kind of glints a little bit with some arcane light, um, and kind of present it to you as well.
she takes it and she kind of like smells it and like just kind of like tucks it back there.
You feel a surge of abjuration magic as you take it.
Abjuration?
Mhm.
Oh. Oh, he did. Well, he did make the kind of like cloak or shawl of stars that she wears. That makes
Mhm.
sense.
I'll give you the stats, but it's called a chromatic rose, and it does some cool stuff.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, my love. Then may our dance never end.
May never end.
And,
I think he kind of grabs you around the waist and
Mhm.
goes for the kiss, and then immediately music flares, dancing. People start clapping and cheering. You know, even your parents like look at you and give you like both like not like kind of nods of approval. I think your father is more excitable than your mother is. And I think we kind of pan away from this celebration as we kind of see like this moment of joy showcased against like the rest of these preparations as people are getting ready to go to war. And I think we'll end it there. Let me send you this.
This this show had everything: dragons, war council, gods of war, a wedding.
A wedding. No dungeons though.
Dragons, though.
We got halfway there. We got dragons and dragons. Is that a thing?
Dragons, dragons, and dragons.
I
You know
think
how
this
it
is
So
be.
much Sean Connery.
was it the dungeon. Was it Gravity Falls? Dragons, dragons, and more dragons.
There's like a rap that went with
No,
it.
sorry. It was Dungeons, Dungeons, and more dungeons. And then there's the 90s version, which was Diggity Dungeons. Incredible. Let me see if I can find a channel to raid. We'll be back in 2 weeks and actually have a, I think, rather consistent schedule for the next few sessions as we work our way towards a ridiculous finale fight.
I hope you like battle maps, is what you said.
I hope you like battle maps. I hope
Battle
you
map. Enormous.
I got one. I
The
got one
whole
big
city.
one. It's very large. It's gonna be a throwdown. Like I figure if we're gonna go and you're gonna bring a bunch of like 17th plus level adventurers into a finale, like let's get dumb.
And our session in 2 weeks is kind of a big deal because that is LFTA's Extra Life weekend, where we will be doing 6 games, I believe. And
Yes.
of course, the most important is saved for last as the anchor of the event.
Yes.
Heck yeah. Now we're gonna do a bunch of one shots, and I believe Academy H is also, or Class Reunion is going on Saturday, so it'll be a big event.
They're first, right? They're first, and we're last.
I believe they are first.
No.
And then there's I think like 4 kick-ass one shots. Was it We Gather in the Dark, Little Earthquakes, House on the Ash Tree? There's descriptions of them in our Discord, which I will actually post. Unfortunately, I think signups are over, but nevertheless, it's a bunch of cool people and GMs with a bunch of nifty ideas.
Yep, you should tune in. Several of these nerds will be playing. I will be running one. Yes.
Which one are you running again?
Little Earthquakes is mine.
Ah,
It
there we
doesn't
go.
actually have anything to do with the Tori Amos album, but I couldn't not name it that.
Damn
So
it.
I'm gonna try and sneak in as many like little lyrics, etc. bits as I can. Um,
I'll have to be honest. Dr. Boyfriend and I were very excited to find out what the reference was. So
I mean,
Oh, and the last game
You
is
know.
called Magic of Herons.
yes,
So,
yes.
I thought it was
looking at
a bay of herons.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
It
that's
could
the
be.
setting. Yeah,
But the title says Mad. I'll go with what's in the Discord.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. So
I remember asking if a bay of herons was the entrance to a body of water full of birds, or just
Or
a
the
really
sound.
loud call.
Bay
And
of Herons. So
I think
there's
the
a
answer
sword
is
dance.
both. Yeah,
or
Or it
Good
could
one.
just be the love of a big bird.
yes.
I'm Bagok, the Bay of Herons.
Scraw.
Hear my mighty roar.
Screech.
Yeah.
But
Yup.
we'll be back in 2 weeks for some. Yeah, just it's going to be a lot of cool combat with a lot of shits kind of wrapping up, and maybe dragons. Who knows?
Maybe dragons.
Yeah, but this
Could
is
be friendly, could be evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're trying to take down a lich that's been planning this for a millennia, so could get weird. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it all turns out. But does anybody else have any cool announcements they want to make before we go raid ADHD Adventures? ADH Adventures. The name is clever written.
Yes.
You should definitely tune in for Extra Life Weekend for everything, but
Absolutely.
especially ours. Just
Yes.
Heck yeah.
That is 6 to 10 Saturday, November
Yes.
2nd.
Yes.
Eastern Standard Time.
And then Veilbreakers is regular time. So
Correct.
Sunday. Yep.
6 to 10 on Sunday.
Yep.
Excellent.
But all right, well, if that's nothing else, I was happy to see all of you again. I'm sorry that Jen got schwacked by computer gremlins or whatever, but
Yep.
she'll be back ready to rock. And yeah, we'll see you all in 2 weeks. Thank you for watching. Have a great night.